Yo, welcome into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here, with my brother Matthew, and here with the third installment of the Lakers losing to the Nuggets in the playoffs. This one was honestly wasn't even didn't even make me mad. It was kind of just like they knew it was the end. Not a lot of fight in the second half. They came out strong, and that was kind of it. But yeah, Matt, how you doing? You can take this wherever you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of hit it already. There was zero fight at all. It just, it looked like they gave up, and it was really disappointing as a fan. They came out to the hot 8-0 start. They looked so active defensively, a lot of deflections, a lot of turnovers for the Nuggets, and they just looked good. But it was weird when we were still winning in the second quarter. I knew it was over. There was just something about the way they're playing. The Nuggets weren't playing well. We weren't playing well. And it was just like I know they're gonna lose. D'Lo was just not involved at all. He like obviously we're gonna talk about it, which everyone's talking about. He scored 0 points. Rui took 4 shots yet again with another quiet game, and it, it's tough to watch. To me, it wasn't even like the same game because they didn't have fight after the
Yeah,
first quarter. There was zero fight, and that's the most frustrating thing. They looked like they just gave up. It looked like a team that was like, okay, well, we know what's gonna happen. Let's just why even try? Why even try to get ahead? They just look like they know they can't beat the Nuggets, and it's disgusting to watch. It's that simple. I never thought I'd see a LeBron-led team be so afraid of one team where it's inevitable that they're gonna lose. So why even try?
yeah,
But AD had 33 again. LeBron is staying at 26. Reeves started off hot and then kind of had an inefficient night the rest of the night, and then he ended up scoring a little bit in the fourth quarter to raise his points up to 22. The bench, yet again, was awful, although Dinwiddie managed to have 8 points. Vincent made two of his 4 shots. And of course, Prince made a three. But other than that, it's just like
yeah,
there's it's tough. There's not a lot to say other than like we gave up. The Nuggets are obviously an incredible team, and it's difficult to stop them. But we're on our home floor. The series isn't over yet. For them, it shouldn't be. For us, we kind of know the way they played the past 6 times in the playoffs. But they're on their home floor, and there was no outside of that first run. There was no like energy from the building. There was no like let's do it. The time is now. Let's do it right now. They just looked scared. They looked afraid, and it's like the third quarter. It was like they weren't trying. It was so sad to see as a Laker fan, and it's just like where do we go from here? I mean, big picture wise, it's like if the thing I'll say is just don't get swept. Like have some pride of your home floor and the fact that they've beaten you 7 straight times in this playoffs, and you've been up every single game in this series by double digits. Do not get swept. Like, and the only one that's gonna happen is like LeBron. You have to have just an insane game. I know you're almost 40, but I mean it's really gonna be on you. It's gonna take LeBron, like LeBron did. I think he had 40 in last year's game 4, but it wasn't enough. It's gonna take that. It's gonna take D'Lo to make a shot. It's gonna take Reeves. It's gonna take AD, and it's just yeah, it's very frustrating. I know you're frustrated too, but yeah,
yeah. Honestly, I'm expecting a sweep. If there was a don't get swept game, it was yesterday, and they tried with that energy for half of the first quarter. It was the most frustrating thing was that the Nuggets didn't care about winning this game. They did it. They were so sloppy and bad, and the Lakers have been good on defense for stretches, but the Nuggets were just all over the place. Jamal Murray was dribbling the ball off his foot in the first half, and then the third quarter came, and it was like, why? It's almost as if the Nuggets were surprised the Lakers weren't trying to win. They weren't go like there was no energy or rush or urgency from the Lakers. It was just kind of like, oh, I guess we'll just do the same thing, and the Nuggets were like, okay, sure, I guess we'll win the game if we have to. And they turned it on in the third quarter, played defense. Lakers scored like 20 points in the first 18 minutes of the half, and that was it. It's just I don't. There's still a series that has to be concluded. I think it will be concluded in Game 4. But so I'm not gonna talk too much about the offseason. We're gonna have a lot of that talk this summer. But this, I can't. There's no way in the world we could bring this team back. I don't want to see most of these guys back, honestly. D'Lo was my favorite player when we drafted him, and I felt legitimately sick when we traded him because I was a teenager and I liked him. And then he came back and I was excited and I wanted him to do so well. I wanted it for him so bad. And this season he was great, but he just mentally checked out again. He was gone. Like he didn't. It's so difficult to see that. And I mean, Ruiz. I don't think Ruiz ever mentally checked out, but he just isn't good enough to not like try to force himself into the game. He has to be doing something. He's not a good enough defender for him to take 4 shots. He does like if he's not scoring, then his impact isn't very high, and the rest of the team sucks. Gabe Vincent is supposed to be better, but he can't shoot. Spencer Dinwiddie's awful, and he's not a good screen navigator, which is what Jamal Murray does the entire time. And Jamal Murray only posts up guards, which is the only thing Spencer would be good at him guarding him 1-on-1. Jamal Murray's smart, so he only posts guards up that he knows he can take to the hole. So Spencer never had that opportunity. So he was useless on the court. Torian Prince, he's just an average role player. Gabe Vincent can't make a shot, so he's useless. Jackson Hayes didn't even play, which by the way I didn't like. He was fine, especially in the LeBron at center units. There was no reason for Jackson not to play. It's just bad. Aaron Gordon scored 25 points. I don't think he dribbled the ball once. He was just in the paint working harder than every single player on the floor on a team against a team that was supposed to be desperate for their lives. They're giving up those effort plays to Aaron Gordon when they're down 0-2 at home. It's just I don't know. I don't it's not even anger. Like my voice is getting louder, but I'm not mad because this team. I knew what this team was. I had a really bad feeling about what this team was for the whole season. I remember I was telling you, Matthew, that this season felt like the first Russ year. It felt like if AD and LeBron were healthy during the first Russ year, that team just didn't make any sense. It didn't that team didn't make sense from a construction standpoint. This team does, but the way they perform, it doesn't make sense to me, and it never did. And I let myself buy into it a little bit because I'm a Laker fan and I want them to be good, and I love I love the guys on the team, so I thought it would be fun. But no, this team is exactly what I thought it was. It's a team that they need to win, and AD is out, or they need to win, and they get blown out by the Rockets on the road. Like it's just that type of stuff. It's everything you do in the regular season matters to the point that you know who you are. You can't just pretend to be someone else. The Lakers have never taken this year's Laker team didn't take anything seriously until after the All-Star break, and they expected to be rewarded with something. Even today, they didn't take the game serious enough for a desperate team. And I'm not honestly, this isn't not on LeBron and AD at all. It's the rest of the players, which makes it more infuriating to me. That we went with this like role player model with like solid guys and like spreading out contracts and stuff, which is what Laker fans have always wanted. Because 3-star having a lot of good players doesn't win you championships. I guess that's what Lakers fans decided, and I thought this team was fine. And then role players do what role players do, and be inconsistent, and don't if they don't show up, and that's also by the way the reason they've lost so many games during the regular season despite LeBron and AD being healthy is they just the role players were inconsistent. They had inconsistent roles sometimes, sure. Darvin Ham, screw you, whatever. D'Lo had so many games like this when they went 5-12 after the break or after the in season tournament. Reeves was bad, Rui was bad at different points of the season, and now they had those performances in the playoffs. This isn't really surprising to me. It's upsetting, and I wish it could have been better, but that's just what you get when you depend on role players. And like I don't just mean like a couple of them, obviously, because the Nuggets have role players, but they have like elite superstar players in their role. they don't just have like, oh, D'Lo can like get hot and that's it. Like what do we do with that? But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm taking us into like an off-season conversation. It's just I can't see this team again with the Lakers. There needs to be. I shouldn't say there's going to be. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but there needs to be major changes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna save all my big picture thoughts for after the game four sweep that we do, but also off season talk. I think we're gonna have videos on individual players,
Yeah,
what we want,
yeah.
all that
That's on
stuff.
me. My
So
bad. My bad. I just got
def no,
into
no,
it.
no. I don't think you went into like it's we're recapping the season. You're right. What we saw from these players we're seeing right now.
Yeah,
Everyone's Reeves had his good game yesterday. D'Lo had his good game in game two. Rui's been bad, awful the whole time. And those are like our Gordon Porter role players where they could all get to like 18 points,
yeah,
but they all have sucked. And Gordon has killed us. Porter has killed us. They're an incredible freaking team, and I hope they win because it'll make us look better. And I think they are going to win the rest of it. But the most frustrating part about to me about this game isn't like matchup wise or coaching or adjustment wise. It's just even like the Sixers yesterday and the Magic, they had pride on their or
yeah,
yeah, I haven't touched that series. The series is terrible. But they had pride not to get swept on their home floor. They had energy. They had desperate energy. And what made me so mad was Michael Malone in his interviews, and he should feel this way. You can just see in the way he's talking, like, oh yeah, yeah, we can beat him. Like, yeah, it's no problem. Like, D'Lo gets hot, oh, then you can defend him. Like, it's no problem. We got him. And it's so freaking frustrating because every Laker fan hates looking at his face, and he knows that they own us, like fully own us. 10 straight. It's going to be 8 straight in the playoffs. 2 straight sweeps. They know they have us, and we couldn't play desperate. Are you kidding me? The only guy that looked desperate out there was Reeves. Like how and AD, but AD's always dominant. LeBron's always dominant. It was pathetic. It was absolutely pathetic. There was no desperation. There was no energy outside that first half of the quarter. I don't know. I don't know how that doesn't happen. I don't know how Rui, Prince, all these guys, Vincent, how are they not flying on the floor with energy? I don't understand. That is, I need this whole. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't get into big picture stuff, but we're not going into specifics. This can't happen again next year because, I mean, like you said, D'Lo, I felt the same way. I was a kid when we drafted him, and I had the same feelings. I was so excited. I vividly remember leaving practice, seeing we got D'Lo, we got Vando, we got Beasley, and I screamed. I was so excited, and it's not. You can't watch the same thing 2 years in a row and say, okay, maybe next time I'll check it off. And so
yeah.
I think we'll get into it more after game four, but what how are you feeling in terms of do you think we get this against any other team or is this a bad matchup? I personally think it's both. I think that this team was good enough to make a finals run. If you eliminated the Nuggets from the world, they didn't exist. I 100% think this could have been a finals run because I think a lot of it is batch matchups where it's like Rui's defending the best player in the world. If he didn't have to do that, we get more from him. D'Lo, he's in his head, and also it's a bad matchup for him. Maybe I think it's weird because I think that this is a talented enough team to make a finals run, but every single one of those talented players absolutely sucked. So I don't really know where to go from here. I don't know if it's a Nuggets thing. I don't know if it's a playoff thing for these players where they just ended up sucking. But Reeves and Rui were awesome last year. I don't know. Where are you at with like is it the Nuggets or is it us?
Well, okay, the mentality is 1,000,000% the Nuggets. Well, I mean, it's this matchup. Lakers are terrified of them. Like genuine, like not even narrative balls. I mean, technically, this is just us like doing narratives, but I don't care. They're horrified of seeing the Nuggets. And when the Nuggets win the championship this year, the Lakers are going to have to play them on ring night again, and they're going to lose that game too because they're just terrified. But I mean, truthfully, we kind of talked about it. I think the Lakers, well, before this playoff started, I thought the Lakers would have beat every single team in the West to go to the
Mhm.
finals. But I can't. I mean, it doesn't matter now. But I can't even say that in a hypothetical because of how bad everyone has looked. I mean, truthfully, like Rui, maybe it's because he's guarding Jokic for 10 minutes because AD was picking Jokic up more yesterday, and so he's tired. Which I mean, that's valid, but he just looked so bad. Like he just hasn't looked like normal Rui, just on a lower scale because he's tired. He's looked bad. Reeves has been bad. He was good enough yesterday. Most of his half of his production was in the first quarter, so I mean, it is what it is. But even then, he was like he fought. He was the Reeves that we expected. D'Lo, you can't count on him for anything. So it's like, and that's it. We have a starting five, and that is it. But the thing is that so do the Nuggets. But the Nuggets had their four starters account for like 90 points, and the Lakers had two starters combined for 5 points total, and that's the difference, and that's happened every game. I'm looking at the stats also. They let Aaron Gordon match AD's production almost exactly. Aaron Gordon had 29 and 15. That's against a team that's supposed to be desperate for their lives. It's
Just
just
offensive rebounds, and he's just getting offensive rebound, offensive rebound. You guys don't care. I'll just take it.
it's
Because like you said,
horrifying.
they didn't care about anything. Gordon was the only guy like kind of you could see he cared, and Jokic always kind of plays the same.
Yeah,
But Murray took like two shots, and he was like, "Oh, you guys are playing like that? All right, let me just go to work. Let me hit all these step backs, mid ranges. You guys can't guard me. You guys will never guard me." And they got punked on their home floor. But yeah, to answer my own question, the way I'll frame it is this team had enough talent where if everyone played to the potential, they would have beat everyone except the Nuggets. And also, if they played to the potential,
they would
they
have beat
could
the
have beaten the
Nuggets. Yeah,
Nuggets. Yeah, exactly. But every single one of them didn't do that. So if they don't do that, if they don't perform 2 years in a row, then you have to blow it up. That simple. LeBron is going to be 40, and I don't know. We as fans, we've lost a lot of tough games, and this series has been, I think, really was one of the most painful because for one, it makes me sad, like looking back at the LeBron era, like which we will do, and just how many missed opportunities we had with the Westbrook trade, the AD injury against the Suns, and now getting swept back to back years against the Nuggets. It's just been really sad. But as far as a Laker fan, I'm not giving up hope. If LeBron comes back, if we have a good offseason, we can do it. But like you said, when the Nuggets win the championship, that will only help us. It'll make us think, okay, these guys are going to be there every time. We have to go through them. We've gotten swept 2 years in a row. Let's fix that. Let's change the roster to beat them. And I don't mean sign three big men because you can't stop Jokic. No, match them offensively because they're a well-oiled machine and they can't be stopped. With LeBron and AD, we should be the same thing. But it's tough on those two guys when every single other role player is just awful. Every single one of them has played bad at basketball in the series, and they have 6 guys because Braun's been good that are really good at their role, stars in their role, the best they could possibly be in their role, and you're gonna have to beat them, and we can't beat them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, again, we're definitely gonna do a lot, legitimately a lot of big picture future stuff in the off season, which is unfortunately coming very soon. Um, but just as a general statement, despite how upset this I am here, I do genuinely think the future of the Lakers not that bad. It's fine. They have
Yeah,
picks. They have picks they can trade. They have contracts they can trade. It's fine. It's just they need to act on it. And again, we'll get into that later. But I don't. It's not. That's honestly why I'm kind of at peace with this. Is like we needed to expose the issues with the roster, not even the roster, because again, if everyone plays how they should, this is actually a legitimately well put together roster, assuming Vando could be healthy. Like you have every archetype you would want. It's just when you depend on role players that have been historically inconsistent and they're inconsistent, what the hell are you gonna do? That's what they do. That's the whole point. That's why they exist. Even KCP, who's inarguably a top 5 role player in the league right now, had 5 points yesterday. 2 for 7, 1 for 5 for 3. Sometimes that's just what happens. But your stars, your other guys, they score 29, 20, 24, 22, and they win games for you. And that's the entire thing. Um, yeah, we have a lot to go over, and we will be doing that. But for now, we'll see you after game 4. Go Lakers.